All right, good evening. At 6 p.m. We'll start the agenda of the Protection Policy Committee meeting for Monday, March 27th, 2023. Roll call. Alder Morgan. Present. Alder Grant.
Present.
Alder Scannell.
Here.
Alder Stevens is here as well. All present. Take a motion to approval of the agenda.
Motion. Go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Approval of the minutes for March 13th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
No vacation today?
We're jumping in there.
All right, under regular business, we have a appeal by Ellen.
No, we didn't vote on. the
Oh,
minutes.
yeah, motion to approve.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Okay. I'm going too fast here. Okay, on to regular business number one, appeal by Ellen York. 515 13th Avenue on a denial of her excess animal permits. Attorney?
Great, so this is a quasi judicial hearing for the appeal, as Alder Stevens stated, on the denial of the excess animal permit. In terms of the proceedings for this hearing, the appellant, which is Ms. Bjork, will have 5 minutes approximately to speak, and then the alders are welcome to answer questions regardless of time limit. The city will then present its information for the same amount of time, and then each party, starting with Ms. Bjork, and then the city has about approximately 3 minutes to respond as a summation or rebuttal. Then you can open up to the floor for comments if there are members of the public. You don't need to open the floor prior to that. When you've all asked your questions you'd like to ask, we'll close testimony. And then council members can choose to go into closed session or not. The information is there, or the notice is there for your use if you choose to. Otherwise, as I said, we'll start with the appellant, Ms. Bjork, for 5 minutes, and the information, there is information in your packet that was provided by the city and also the appeal. And if there's any other documents, we'll mark those and make copies.
Great, thank you. Come on up.
Who's that?
What's up?
Who is that?
Attorney.
The gentleman or the attorney?
I would like to know who these two people are, please.
Well, this is Alder Campbell.
I'm Lieutenant Block with Green Police.
Why are you?
I have some agenda items to take care of.
They're in all of our meetings.
Same here.
So you're not associated with me? Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Okay, thank you. Okay, you,
Yep, you stand up here.
okay,
I'm sorry, for clarification, I also need to swear in both parties when you're ready to proceed.
may I remain seated? I'm handicapped.
Oh,
Yep. Wait, one moment, we have to swear you in.
Okay,
Good, for both parties, it's going to be, do you swear to the testimony you were about to provide is the whole truth in this matter?
absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You do not lie.
Yes, and if you could state your name and address for the record.
My name is Ellen Dorothy Bjork. 515 13th Avenue, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54303. For the past 23 years, I've owned that. I am appealing the denial
It's locked out.
of my multi-dog permit because where I come from, it's called a setup. I'm sorry, I'm speaking.
No, I apologize. We just had an issue where we thought the door was locked.
Thank you. What I did was I embarrassed and angered Dr. Becky Kroll of Green Bay Animal Hospital, who is friends with the animal control officer, and I use that term loosely. And she is kicking dirt in my face. She came to my home on November 16th. And she was very pleasant to me. She came unannounced with no appointment, which is not legal. She did an inspection of my home. I let her in to do that, which was my error. She did an inspection of my home with a flashlight, no less. Okay. And she said everything looks great. No body cam footage, okay? She said everything looks great, I approve it. all you need to do is go down and register and license all the dogs. And she did say 4 dog permits, which I had, and I was renewing every year. Licensing and renewing my dogs every year. She said, they don't renew every year. You have to renew them every single year, which was BS because I was renewing that permit every year. If a dog passed away, I was adding another dog and telling the city, here's another dog. And they were okaying it and registering another dog. So she was lying to me in my home. And she said, everything looks great, just register your dogs by February 2nd. So I did. So she comes at my door, again, unannounced, no appointment, February 2nd, with a community officer that looked like she was 12 years old, Officer Allen. Again, no body cam footage, nothing. She comes storming into my house, this time angry. And they're walking around my house whispering. And she says, I want to go in your basement. And I said, and this time I got angry and I said, no, ma'am, you have no appointment. And she got very angry with me and she started mocking my disability, making fun of me. And I told her to leave my home, and then she got really angry. Very, very angry. And she said, you can't tell me to leave your house. And I said, excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît, I absolutely can. Get the F out of my house right now. Both of you. And she said, I'm writing you up and I'm taking your dogs away. I am taking your dogs away. Your dogs are going to be removed. And I said, over my dead body. And she stormed out of my house and she sits out in her truck in front of my house for like, I don't know, 2 hours. And my dogs were licensed and registered. I've got it all right here. And what happened was, what started all of this was I had Dr. Becky come to my house like 2 days prior to 11/16. And Dr. Becky is afraid of German Shepherds. My service dog, one of these dogs is a service dog. And he's half German Shepherd and half Lab. Dr. Becky was so afraid of him that she stood up and towered over him like this. And she says, is he going to bite me? And I said, lady, if you don't sit down, yeah, he's going to bite you. You are acting completely irrational around this dog and he's feeding off of you. And she got so mad at me. And then she left. And then the next time I had them out, like was a week later, because he had a skin condition. I said to Lisa, the vet tech, I said, do not send Dr. Becky to my home. She's afraid of Willard, who, by the way, is named from my grandfather, who was a state trooper, Michigan State police officer. Just a little trivia. So I said, send Dr. Abby. Well, that pissed Dr. Becky off so royally. So royally. That's what started all of this. All of this. Did I hesitate and wait too long to register those 2 rescue dogs? All of them are rescue dogs. Every single one is from the shelter. I'm a good person. The shelter knows me. They give me these dogs. I turn their lives around. We are a family. It is rescue heaven at my house. My house is a cross between Stevie Nicks and Caesar Milan. Did I wait too long? Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to pull the disabled card right now. Not only am I disabled, but I'm sick. Don't judge a book by its cover. Okay? Yeah, I waited too long to register those last two dogs. They're registered. They're vaccinated, they're registered. I'm a good mom. Ask anybody. And did you get my email from Kathy?
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Guy Zima was trying to get in. I think you said you weren't gonna let him in. But he's a friend of mine. He comes over all the time. He can vouch for me. I know you guys hate his freaking guts, and you know what? So do I, but he knows I'm a good mom. He's freaking weird as hell, but he knows I'm a good mom.
You want to finish up? It's been 5 minutes. now.
I'm sorry. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
She's a liar. Your animal control officer is a stinking liar. She gaslighted me. She narcissistically abused me. That's sick.
Big questions.
So. Okay.
I've got it all right here if you want to.
Yep, looking at the letter for the denial, it says you were denied because you refused an inspection, but it sounds now.
She inspected it.
Okay,
She's lying.
okay, and that the dogs were unlicensed, there were 2 of them, right? And that's got taken care of.
I got it right here.
Okay, no primary care veteran,
Dr. Ronald Baylor.
Yes, sir.
Baylor in DPR. I have his number. You can call him right now.
okay, he's the primary, yeah, okay.
For 20 years. He's come out to the house, I don't know how many times. You
And,
can call him right now.
and do you know what statement is required for the permit? You need to make a statement for the permit?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, then
sorry.
I'll check with I'm not sure what that is either. I'll find that out. Okay,
I
that's all.
think this is statement enough, don't you?
I'm not sure what's required, so we'll.
I'll make a
That's
statement.
all questions I have. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No offense to you,
Did I take your?
sorry, she's a liar.
Or-
I just got a smirk.
Okay, but please,
What?
That's
That's fine. Yep, absolutely. I just need to ask you if you swear the testimony you're to provide is the whole truth in this matter.
It is.
Thank you. We will proceed. As I said before.
Good evening.
You can introduce yourself too, obviously. I'm sorry.
I'm Officer Mavis. I'm the humane officer with the Green Bay Police Department. For some of you that do not know me, I'm a nationally certified humane officer. I am also a sworn law enforcement officer. I've been with the department since 2007 as an animal control intern and then as a patrol officer. And now I'm dual purpose. So I deal with animal protection related issues and law enforcement related concerns as well. I was out of town actually on November 16th. I had gotten an email and a voicemail from a local vet clinic. It would be now Buddy's Vet, but formerly it was the Green Bay Animal Hospital and the Alloway Animal Hospital. There's Dr. Becky and Dr. Abby that run that clinic. Dr. Becky is, how do I explain this? She is just known to me. She's not a friend. We don't hang out for coffee or anything else like that. But as a practicing veterinarian, part of their obligations are to reach out if there are animal concerns or concerns with the safety of a person. So I was out of town for a state or out of town for a training. I had gotten an email and a voicemail saying that she was concerned for a client, Ellen Bjork, and that she had notified law enforcement. Ellen had called into the clinic that day and had, I guess, made some suicidal comments. There was some concerns for her safety, that she wanted to die. The staff there were concerned. She was just calling in to order a refill on a prescription medication. And Dr. Becky had, one of the staff members had divulged this to Dr. Becky, and she said, you know what, we are not equipped to deal with safety concerns with someone having suicidal ideations. We need to notify law enforcement. Leading up to that, there were some concerns where Dr. Becky and Abby had both done home visits, and there were conditions which were concerning to them. They had noted the concerns in the home, primarily accumulation of animal urine and feces with 6 dogs in the home. And there was concerns that one of the dogs, which was an emotional support dog, not a certified service dog, was aggressive and would bite.
Oh
Um,
my God, you've got to hear me right now.
Ma'am,
The odor of the urine and feces accumulating in the home was quite caustic. And there was a concern for the number of animals in the home and proper care being done at that time. They were just monitoring it over summer and then in fall. And then obviously, the suicidal ideations and not wanting to live, that they then said, you know what, we need to notify law enforcement to do a welfare check of the client. And then we'll refer this to the humane officer for follow-up with the dogs. So at that time, officers did attempt to make contact with Ellen by phone. She reportedly doesn't answer her door. So she answers by phone. She denied any suicidal ideations, and they closed it out. No welfare check of the dogs had been done at that time. I then followed up November 17th, the following day. She did not answer her door. I then attempted phone contact with her, explained I was the humane officer. And I guess to back up, the night before, she had also left me a voicemail message saying, Dr. Becky was on a witch hunt for her, and that I was welcome to come to her home and inspect and everything else like that. And I thought, perfect, that works for me. So like I said, that brings me to the 17th. She didn't answer the door. I phoned her. She then said, yes, come on in. I have nothing to hide. I went into the home. I was hit with a strong odor of dog urine. There were several areas in the home which were marked areas, which would indicate dogs urinating, specifically on the corners of the home and hardwood floors and stuff like that. It was difficult to breathe with the amount of urine that had accumulated in the home. I guess to put it lightly, it felt like it was masked with maybe candles. And it was quite difficult to breathe. She had explained to me that she had applied for an excess dog permit, which had previously been approved years ago. But part of that process is the excess dog permit is only approved for the life of the requested dogs. Okay, and at that time, it was 4 dogs. She currently had 6 in her possession. One of the dogs, which was aggressive. And when I had reached out to the city clerk's office, only 4 of the 6 dogs were licensed. And I explained to her that the permit, the excess dog permit, becomes void upon the death of the animals. It just doesn't keep renewing. The one thing that she would have to renew would be the licenses, and that's a state law, and it's also a city ordinance. So I explained to her, and I have a copy of the notice. I left her a notice and I said, no approved permit to keep 6 dogs. 4 of the 6 dogs were licensed. Please apply for an excess dog permit and licenses by February 1st, 2023. Accumulation of animal urine. Please disinfect soiled areas, encourage outside time to relieve themselves, utilize urine pads to help with soiling. Now, the concern is that she had mentioned that she has difficulty bringing the dogs outside. I get that. And the concern is that animals need to relieve themselves outside. If they are not given the opportunity, it's going to happen inside the house. And obviously that's not good for the health of an animal. It's not good for the person living in that condition, and that sort of stuff. So I left her a notice, which is my contact violation notice. I'm not looking to cite anyone. I'm a huge person on education. I would rather educate someone on where they need to go and what we need to do to remedy the situation. I also supplied a dog license application, and I also supplied an application for an excess dog permit to put all the dogs on there. Most of these situations, typical time frame is a month to get into compliance to remedy these things. I wanted to be empathetic to her situation. She's got a lot going on. And I said, is February 1st an okay time? She indicated yes, it was. And like I said, I supplied her all the documents. December 27th had rolled around. I had not gotten any notifications or anything like that in. So I reached out to her by phone, introduced myself again, and I said, hey, I just want to let you know, part of this process is that you have a deadline by February 1st that you need to comply. And there's a lot of paperwork that has to be turned in. A statement to myself indicating why you're requesting to be exempt from the existing city ordinances. Veterinary records specific to rabies vaccines, and then licenses also need to be obtained. Our city ordinance states that licenses have to be obtained by January 1st every calendar year for any of the animals owned, harbored, possessed, and that sort of stuff.
Isn't her time up?
Close.
So anyways, that's kind of where the situation was at. She said she would have no problem doing it. She calls me later on, leaving voicemail messages
Oh my God.
and emails, requesting I assist her, down at the bank.
You are such a lie.
To get money,
Ma'am,
to get money out of her account. She felt
you
that
need to let her talk.
Dr. Becky was gaslighting her situation is what she stated, that she could not find a vet. And I explained to her, I said, due to the pandemic, a lot of clinics are inundated with patients and clients just because everyone decided to get a pet. I explained to her that she is not blacklisted by the vet clinic. And in fact, I recommended Dr. Baylor to her because he does cheap shots on wheels. And he comes to the home and will immunize an animal. And I know she said that she has issues with mobility, and I recommended that she reach out to him. As far as I know, Dr. Becky had, and their clinic had, she's been like a long time clinic for the last client for the last like 30 some years
Time,
there.
please.
We're gonna talk about it, but we have
Yeah.
3 more minutes. Rebuttal. That's it for the.
Any questions?
You can extend the time.
I would like a rebuttal.
You will, hold on. You will.
So the clinic that was been, they've been the official clinic for the dogs have gone to this clinic, and that's how the clinic got involved.
Yes, they know that she's a longtime client, which is why they did not want to report her. But there were concerns as time went on with her as a dog owner recently.
And what would be your concerns if she did get all the paperwork done? Would that be, would you feel fine going forward, or you still have some other concerns?
I think what would be most appropriate is she have manageable numbers of dogs in the city of Green Bay. It's 2. Unfortunately, when I went there to inspect, I asked her if I could go into the basement because part of my inspection is to inspect the areas where the animals are. And when I was there, I saw an accumulation of dog feces and urine on the floor. The back door was barricaded with big garbage bags, like she had not opened up the back door. And I opened up the back door. I asked her if I could look out in the backyard where it's a fenced yard. And there are no dog tracks coming or going, which leads me to believe that they're utilizing the house. And now there's dog feces and urine right in front of me, in front of a landing pad going down the stairs. I had concern to believe that their dog feces was extenuating, even worse down in the basement. And I asked if I could inspect. She said no, at which point I said, you know what? I respect that. And I will gladly leave. I am citing you based on non-compliance to this. She had not licensed the dogs. She had not submitted the permit, and I did explain to her if she does not get down to the city's 2-dog limit.
Time, please.
I'm asking a question, so she may take as much time as
If she did not get down to the 2-dog limit, it can result in a search warrant and seizure of the animals based on our inspection codes like hoarding conditions. The animals some of them are caged underneath closets with hanging clothes and stuff like that. It's very cramped living quarters. It is a safety concern if one of the dogs, even though it's an ESA dog, and if we had to render aid going in for, if she fell or something like that, it could be a safety concern. And I guess let me be clear by saying, even the ADA on a certified service dog, if an animal shows aggression, can be asked to leave a facility. So I'm just letting you guys know that's kind of where we're at with this. She got upset and disgruntled when I said I'm not even gonna deal with her. I'm gonna leave the citations in the door. She came out and approached myself and the community officer. She then said she was going down to City Hall and she was fired up.
I never approached you.
I then made a phone call down to City Hall just to say, hey, I'm just letting you know she may or may not be coming down there. I am not going to go down there to make the situation worse. If there's an issue, call 911. And every time I wore a body cam, it's all recorded.
Let's see it.
In order to increase your excessive dog permit, do you do a home inspection in order to grant that?
Yes, and so a few years ago, actually more than a few years ago, city council had approved myself and the prior humane officer authority to approve and deny permits. And if there was any concerns, I would deny it. We don't deny many, but if there are concerns, we do deny them. Part of the process of that is that I send a denial letter to the requester. which I sent USPS mail and also emailed to her explaining the appeals process, which would then put her here, and then which would then be a recommendation to full council. And then I thought, let that be the case, but that was never done. And I didn't even have the opportunity to send out neighborhood letters to send any concerns where area neighbors might have 10 days to respond what their concerns might be.
Why? Why didn't you have that opportunity? Why didn't you?
Yeah.
And
That, we were in a legal proceeding here. There are rules.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Okay,
At this time, do we know if she has all of them licensed or
you'll
not?
get another turn.
She did get them all licensed, yes.
A little bit you could see of the backyards and stuff, for any signs of feces and stuff that.
There were no dog tracks at all coming or going from the backyard. In fact, the back door was barricaded with garbage and the dog feces was on like a landing pad. And then there's the basement doors and off the other side was the back, so.
Any other questions?
In a normal situation with your background in doing so. Had she applied for the excess animal permit, would you feel comfortable as without any past history granting that in a situation like this? With the amount of stuff in the home?
So typically what happens is I have permit requests like weekly. We get quite a few of them in. I go out, I do my inspection, I send out neighborhood letters. Typically they are unannounced just because we want to see what the living conditions are. I don't want you to have to clean your house and then have me come in. I want to know that you're on top of this sort of stuff prior to that. We don't inspect for Petco, PetSmart. We show up and say, hey, we're doing our inspection. That's kind of part of the process of having these businesses and having, you know, that privilege. It is a privilege. And, you know, why we should grant you that exception. You know, unfortunately, if letters come in saying like there's issues with loose dogs, dogs left outside unattended, barking, you know, housing conditions, you know, if there's a red flag, we deny it. But again, it's a small handful. I do have people that request to keep 4 dogs. There are no problems. The animals are well kept. There are no complaints from vet clinics. The yard is good. My concern is obviously her decline and then the decline of the animals in her care, the urination and feces in the home, which can cause health issues. Not to mention for the animals as well.
When do I get my rebuttal?
When we're done asking questions,
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Okay. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you can rebut.
I would like to know when Willard has shown aggression towards anyone. When? Where's the proof in that pudding? There is none. Willard's not aggressive.
Well, if I may though,
Where did that come from, Miss Maida?
you
But-
can't address.
but,
Okay, I'm sorry,
but,
I
but
didn't know
it
that.
really isn't the main issue for the denial. I mean, if you could focus on the main issues for the denial, that would be.
There are some underlying issues here, however, which are lies.
You'd have to prove them.
Exactly. Let's do that, shall we? There are lies. That's not true. My house is gorgeous. Perhaps that bears repeating. My house is gorgeous. I have a beautiful home. I have beautiful, happy, healthy dogs. There are lies taking place here. And I, for one, am sick of it. I'm being railroaded. I'm tired of it. I have a peaceful, beautiful, happy home with my rescue babies. Why you're doing this to me, I have no freaking clue. Well, yeah, I have a freaking clue. But this is wrong. Leave me in peace. I welcome all of you, all of you, all of you to come to my home tonight. Come. I welcome you into my beautiful home. See for yourselves. Pet Willard, hug him. There is not an aggressive bone in that dog's body. He's my service dog. He has saved my life. I would enjoy telling you about it. He saved my life. You know that guy that killed that dude and wrote in blood the Psalm 23 on the wall? That guy was in my house. Willard saved my life. He saved my life.
Any other comments?
True shit.
Any questions? Oh,
I'm looking at, well, we have 9 pictures we're looking at of your house right now.
It's gorgeous.
There was a question about the animals being caged with a lot of items piled on top of them. I'm seeing that in the pictures. Is that
They
an
sleep there.
untruth then?
They sleep there. And the only reason they were in there is because she was over. And I didn't want her scurrying around. You know, perhaps if she thought to ask a question. But no. She's railroading me. I don't like narcissistic abuse. You know, I grew up with it. I've been narcissistically abused all my damn life, and I'm not gonna put up with it now, Miss Maybez.
Any other comments? Ross?
I want to be left in peace.
Can we open the?
I'm not gonna put up with this. I'm just not. No one's gonna take my family from me. Those dogs are my family. I don't have any family left. They're dead. They're dead. I adopted those dogs. The Humane Society gave them to me willingly, actually eagerly, if I must say, because they know me. I fed them, I love them, I cherish them. And they cherish me. We are a family, we are a pack. Dogs and wolves run in packs. We're a pack. And nothing, not you, Miss Maybez, is gonna tear us apart. Period. End of story. Got that?
It's not her decision, it's ours.
Got that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to open the floor.
Do I have a
Just one
second?
sec.
Oh,
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
The city gets 3 minutes to on response. If you have
Oh,
anything to
yes.
add or any comments, Officer Mavis,
Unless you would like me to come up.
if you have any questions for her, there's 2 more minutes. Otherwise, you can always ask her questions
I
later.
had one, but I can't remember it now.
And you're still welcome to my home.
You have any
I'll
other
make you
evidence you
coffee,
think
tea,
we
whatever you
have
like.
Relative?
I know the you said there's camera footage. Does the
Um,
camera footage cover any of the PCs and the other?
Yeah, nothing
Okay.
inside the home where you're gaslighting me, I'm sure.
I turn on my body cam before I even go into a facility or a residence, and I keep it on until I leave. I turn it on for every single phone call. I'm constantly recording it all the time. I'm recording now. But I do for my own protection, for these types of situations, all the voicemails and emails were put to the case, for documentation.
Good.
So everything is there. I did cite her, she does have a court hearing coming up April 6th. Obviously, that was the last resort, to try to remedy these situations. If I might add, I do feel like there are certain circumstances where someone is well-intended. You know, animal rescuers and that sort of stuff. Life situations happen. People become ill, there are health issues, their financial situation changes, whatnot. And I think sometimes, in the animal world, things can, decline, even though they are well-intended. And
Oh.
obviously, as.
Can't say that, honey.
Ma'am, you need to let her speak. She let you speak for 3 minutes.
You can't say
We'll
that.
start again.
As a humane officer, I am appointed to investigate these types of concerns. And, you know, obviously we have to act in what's in the best interest of the animal sometimes. And if we have veterinary concerns, that really is a last resort.
And this is just a denial for the permit of the extra animals. You'd still be able to keep 2.
Yes, so if a search warrant were written, it would be to remove 4 of the 6 dogs.
And she would choose the 4, or how would that work?
Basically, we would go in and take The plan would be to take, 4 of them and not an ESA dog.
Oh, over my dead body, no, sorry. Sorry,
Any other-
sorry, Mallory.
Thank you.
Motion open the floor, right?
I just want everyone to know that I did sue the Social Security Administration for making discriminatory remarks about my disability and owning dogs, and I won, so. Want you to know that.
I'll take a motion open the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Former Alder Zima, you ready to speak?
No, it's not cheap. Cool.
And if you could state
There's
your.
been a little piece to this.
If you could
I haven't quite heard this sort of
Awesome.
outburst since I've been here. But anyway,
And if you could just state your name and
my
address for the
name is
record.
Zimmer. I live at 1121 12th Avenue, Green Bay, Wisconsin. 54304. The reason I'm here is Ellen had basically called me and I have a long memory of her situation. I was sitting on this very committee that you're sitting on, that made the decision and was on the council that made the decision to let her keep 4 dogs. And truthfully, that was like 15, 20 years ago. And I can't tell you exactly, but it's a long time.
Okay,
And she basically has not caused any problems in the neighborhood whatsoever. I've never had a complaint as I was alderman there, and I would have complaints, believe me, if dogs were out yipping or pooping in other people's lawns or anything like that. Ellen has some handicap facility too, so I don't know if she didn't clean the dog dirt in a timely manner out in the back porch or whatever. That I couldn't argue one way or the other, but wouldn't be a reason to take the dogs away from her as far as I'm concerned. And these dogs are basically her reason for existence. And these are like her family. And the dogs that she has now, she's had other dogs in between, dogs that died in between, not because of abuse or anything, just from old age and stuff. And she's just replaced them without going and asking to renew her request to have 4 dogs. Of course, what she has right now is 4 little tiny dogs, 1 slightly bigger dog, and then her service dog, which is a big black lab. And if you walk in there, he's probably gonna bark at you. She puts a dog in a cage.
But he likes
When
Mr. Zimmer.
people are coming. I didn't have any trouble. I was sitting right next to him and he was barking when I came in, but he was sniffing my hand a little later. But you know, all of this is a little kind of aside the point. Ellen, I told her to come here and talk to you about her history of taking care of the animals without complaints by the neighborhood. And the neighborhood has really not changed all that much. Most of her neighbors have been there for a while. And did she give you a letter from one of the neighbors?
Yeah, email.
Because it was sent to me too, and I have copies here for you if you wanted to.
Yeah, here's
got it.
their registrations.
But I'm here. I basically think there's
Okay, thank you.
you know, Ellen might not be as
There's,
diplomatic as I'm being right here. But. you have to-
yeah, I get heated, but hey.
Yeah, you have to understand, this has been her life work for about 20 years now. I think the person who sent the letter to you said 23 years she's been her neighbor.
Yeah,
23
half of
years.
those 2 doors down.
And nobody in the neighborhood has a problem with her. Someone made a complaint. Supposedly, at least she speculated who she thinks it might be.
Yeah, that was someone behind, in the back of the alley, they're long gone.
But anyway, I really think you ought to, allow her just to continue taking care of her dogs as she's done for, I guess, 23 years. I was, like I said, I was on the council. I can honestly tell you, I never had a single complaint about the property. And of course, one person's beauty is another person's ugly picture, but I was in her home. The home does not have any odor to it. I was sitting in her living room and the dogs were yappy a little bit. When I came over, she put them away. She didn't want them.
Vito the Chihuahua is.
When was the
madly
last
in
time
love
you were there?
The last time I was there was this past week.
This past week?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I really think taking these dogs away from her would be an act of cruelty to the animals as well as to Ellen. This is her life's work. She hasn't caused any problem. I was surprised. I said, well, do you have a neighbor or somebody that's complaining or something? And that really wasn't the case. So I think you gotta understand, these are 4 little tiny dogs and a big service dog, and then one that got squeezed in there that she got from the Humane Society that's about this big, not this big. So I think if you come to some agreement with her, when dog dies, that she would replace it without coming before you. And just let her continue her life, I think would be the thing to do. If there's a fine for feces on the back porch or something, and I'm unaware of that, but hey, if it's possible, there's pictures of it, it was there. But I think that should be the extent of the fine. And I just think she deserves more of a thank you for really caring for these dogs. She cares for them. She really does care for them. And like I say, 6 dogs sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's 4 Chihuahuas and a slightly larger little dog, plus her service dog. And she's been taking care of it. That's her life's work. And of course, you see how she's reacting. She's like, it's like threatening the life that she's had for the last 20 years. So
Whatever since then.
if you want to put some conditions to it or something, I think you could do that. But I'm just here to let you know that I never had a complaint there. And I don't know of any person who's opposed to it, really, in the neighborhood.
and just,
One,
yep, just guy, Mr. Zimmer, former Alder Zimmer, just, so you were there a week ago and the house was clean and there was no odor?
No, the house was clean.
You didn't see any feces or anything?
In the house? No,
Yeah.
The house is, it's got a bunch of knickknacks all over the place.
No, I don't care about the knickknack, that's
But
just,
the house was clean and it did not have an odor to it. She invited you to come there. You can go yourself if you want. You can't, if you've got serious dog odor, you're not going to be able to hide it overnight or anything like that. She takes good care of these little dogs. And I mean, this is basically her life. And so I think penalize her for feces or something if they're out of place, but I think, like I said, it's being more of an act of cruelty to the animals and her. So I just here to put in what I know of the situation, which is substantial, really. So thank you.
any other questions for?
not for all the guy, not for all the Zimmer.
Well, if you'd like to consider more evidence, we can
Yep.
listen to the body cam. Is it just audio or also video? It's audio. It's up to you if you'd like to also include that.
Okay, but I also like, to, if I may ask the. Another.
You can ask any questions you'd like, and I'm
Okay.
just offering that she has records as well, if you'd like to consider. any
I think we
document.
should, but before we get to that,
Oh, I'm
how-
sorry.
Want to close
Can
the
you
floor
put
or
the floor
Oh,
back? Thank
yeah.
you.
motion close the floor?
have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it.
How often do the dogs, you have back, fenced in backyard, how often do the dogs?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I just recently had the fence installed. It's one of those white vinyl fences, 6 foot. It's a beauty.
So how often do the dogs get out in the backyard?
Oh, as often as possible. They love it back there. It's a beautiful yard.
So would you say you get them out? A couple times a day, 4 times a day,
Oh.
average roughly?
Well, in the summer, I have the back door propped open all the time. Yeah, I have the screen door propped open all the time. They can come and go as they please. Unfortunately, that leaves the bugs to come in as they please as well. But in winter, probably, you know, when it's really cold. No. But like this, probably 3-4 times a day. But in summer, they come and go as they please, and I have a pond. And they love the pond.
Okay, thanks. I have no further questions. Don't forget to see that.
You wanna listen?
Yeah.
Is there any way of seeing it, or is it just gonna hear audio?
Well, but it's evidence, so I don't know what typically
Typically, we would have put that in closed session probably, but I think in this case, we can do it in open session because
It's evidence.
it's a hearing. So as long as you, okay with that, I'm fine.
Are you okay if I bring that up? I have, so the first one is the welfare check on November 17th. That is 34 minutes and 46 seconds.
Is there any way of putting it on the screen?
I don't have access to them on mine, so.
I'm pulling this directly from our
Found.
somewhere up there. I made a phone call, which was 2 minutes and 46 seconds, and then I have a different one, which I'll have to log into because it's a different date and a different case number. And that one was from the more recent one. So whatever you would choose. The first time I was there was no accumulation of feces on the floor. The second time when I went there, that was observed by me and the other officer, and we were in the home, and the dog hair and everything else like that things had declined from November to February.
You have a picture showing where there's no track showing animals leaving.
If my body cam picked it up when I opened the door, it should be all there, yeah. I mean, depending on sometimes the angle, but I mean, it was me literally asking to move the garbage, opening the door, not seeing any tracks, seeing the dog waste. And asking to go down in the basement, which is likely that if the dogs are defecating there, their animals are gonna defecate in an area where where they don't eat and where they don't sleep.
It had just snowed and it was 5 degrees.
You're okay with that? I'll pull that
That's
up.
up to you all.
So-
If you don't see it on the big screen, we have to go back and try and upload it to see it. I don't have access to. body cam.
What, I guess I would ask, which one do you wanna watch? The initial contact, that's 34 minutes. Or the one in February, which is my follow-up,
Which one is gonna show us
the dog
Evidence.
species. Mhm.
evidence? that
Yeah, so let me pull up that case number.
This
that's-
is a hazard to the resident and her animal.
While she's doing that.
We can pull back up the video before the council meeting and add it to it. It's just,
Oh.
they're very large files, so I don't usually have access. We don't usually add them. But we can do that before council, whatever you
Okay.
watch tonight.
It would probably be good.
Yeah. You did that on external drive.
Good. Really good.
Let's wait till all of it and Scanlon gets back.
Yeah, I'm just queuing it here. So this one is 23 minutes. I'll just. Put it for now.
Yeah. Mallory, can you connect to Zoom on your phone and then do a share screen from your phone, or does that not work? That might be tricky.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
Oh,
we'll go with this and. I'll upload it.
Otherwise, what do I do? Like, if someone wants to, how do you share? Do you know how to share if I was to do that?
Here, so, yeah.
Okay, let me,
Oh, well, it works on a phone.
okay,
We can just go with this and like, so we'll upload it. We can upload it. Everybody can hear it. So
okay, and I'll turn it on.
Okay.
Are you all set? Yeah. With me here. So there's a delay with the sound just right when I started, but you can see I'm just getting out of my truck. There's Officer Allen. You guys can look at it. The sound should start rolling. That's why I like literally started every time I leave my truck. Let me know if it doesn't turn on, which it should.
Oh, is that when I threw a fit at you? Yeah,
Is it turned on yet?
that's nice.
Let me just make sure that the, hold on, there we go. See, you can hear it. Like a 30, it backs up 30 seconds. So
Got every right to do that now.
we will take it on that. Snow might not. Yeah.
Did you pass forward? We do that, just tapping on it, sliding.
It might, but it may mark stuff. So you want to see like what we're seeing, like going into the home, it'll show everything. So if you can just hold tight maybe for a little bit. Yeah, right.
Oh, God, how rude.
If I had said that, you know, her host was like.
You do know the bylaw, you have to make an appointment. Yeah, she never called. Nothing like a little confusion, huh, boys? I hear a word about inspection.
That's what Dan was getting.
Back up.
Isn't she supposed to ask if she can do an inspection? Yes. I'll make an appointment. Hmm.
Outside. Okay. So, that is a little bit of a. No, that's absolutely fine. I'm just letting you know, it's like, when we go into a backyard, there's dog poop. Not seeing dog poop out there, not seeing any cats when you're going to the backyard. So that they're going in the house, there's space in the back where the dogs, that's. Okay.
Things woke me up and it had snowed.
That's not, that's healthy, for them, okay? It's also. That part, you know.
Officer Mavis, can you tell us what you're hearing? Is that about it? As far as what we would see
No.
back?
What was helpful to us?
Yeah,
Keep going, please.
the next part just leads into explaining that based on review of the inspection of the property and non-compliance with the permit, filing or anything else like that, doing the deadline requirements, that I was going to leave the woman and I'm going to cite her, I'm going to do the citation to the door, so I don't have to have contact with her. She then, used some colorful language saying she's going to go down to the clerk's office. And I was parked across the street, not in front of her house. I was parked across the street, not over. And, she then became animated after that contact, and that's all we heard.
You're gonna miss the best part.
We'll see the whole video, though. We're gonna get that, right?
Yep.
Okay. And we will get both.
Where
videos,
she
is
mocks
that
me and
okay?
makes fun of my disability.
What was that?
Where she mocks me and makes fun of my disability.
We will see that.
If you'd like to listen to it, and then
Do you guys want-
you're more than welcome.
I don't think I need to hear anymore, but I mean, I. From what I saw there, Officer Davis's behavior is appropriate and I don't know why she would. I believe. Well, I'm not going to, I don't know, I don't need to see.
So unless you guys have more, unless the council has more questions for the parties, we can close testimony and then it's up to you all if you'd like to deliberate open session. Or there's language for closed session.
Okay.
If you'd
I
like
guess,
to
so
deliberate.
just for clarification, I apologize. So she a while ago had approval for the 4 dogs, but that was how long ago again? Do you know the year on it? I know Alderman Smith thought it was a while ago, like
I-
15.
You can speak, you can respond. Otherwise I'll.
It should be in my reports.
Sorry,
In my, on the top of my head, I wanna say it was maybe like 2004.
Okay, so
And it
what,
was four dogs then, and those dogs had since passed. Now, obviously, we're in 2022, when I was there, now we're 2023, and there's 6 dogs.
okay. And none of the switching of the dogs was updated. That was the last time we had approval, Kurt.
Great, so the way the ordinance is written, to keep more than 2 dogs, we have to apply for the permit, and the permit is only good for the life of the requested dogs. The only thing that needs to be renewed is licenses each calendar year. So if the animals were to die, to be sold or transferred, a new permit would need to be applied for. in addition to still licenses. So it's good for the life of the dog.
No, the city kept renewing it, so I don't know.
Going on top of that, it sounds like a long time has passed in between. From the initial 4-dog approval of 2004. And what's happened between. Would that have to come before a committee / council to renew the whole process or? Just the permitting of the dog?
I don't think the
appropriate
permitting comes
process
before
be like completely all over again,
off the meeting.
to be able to approve that.
Yeah, so licenses aren't approved by council, but the excess animal permits are first either granted or denied by the humane officer. And then reviewed for final termination by council if the humane officer approves the application.
Correct, but in 2004, all of the excess animal permits used to come through the Protection and Policy or Protection and Welfare Committee first. And then you guys got inundated with them, so then the recommendation was to go through the humane officer. If there's a concern and a permit is denied, they are given an appeals process. And then they come before here.
Well, why wouldn't anyone tell the dog owners?
I don't believe that's the responsibility of anybody today. Officer Mavis, do you have something to say on that?
That when I denied Ellen's permit, I sent her the ordinance in a letter with the appeals process highlighted. that
No,
information-
no, I mean back when I had 4 dogs, or when I was renewing my dogs. Why wouldn't anyone alert me that that situation had changed back then?
One example that I try to kind of make the connection with, as an animal owner, you are responsible for understanding animal ordinances and laws. No different than when you get into a vehicle to operate a vehicle, you have to have that vehicle registered. You have to have a valid driver's license and you need to know the rules of the road, or you should, okay? Same thing goes for animal ownership. Fortunately, not everyone follows the rules.
And really, we're not here because of that.
Right.
Because you gave her time to get caught up, so it's
More
not,
than
right,
a
so
month.
it's really not the issue. The issue is, the animal's going in the house. And the vet had concerns about,
Oh, agreed,
anything in particular?
agreed.
I mean, they got involved at first, they were concerned about any specific.
Right, so, I don't wanna like sit, but the root sitting,
Are you talking about Vito taking a dump by the back door?
No, please, ma'am.
there were 2 different vets at that clinic, that had concerns with, accumulation of animal urine and feces in the home and the caustic odor associated with that.
Okay.
And
So-
then the suicidal ideations, and then from that, a welfare check was called in on the client and to check the animal's welfare, given the condition in which she is in, to adequately care for 6 dogs.
And I told you that was bullshit.
Okay. And then just the failure to follow through after your visit.
Yes.
Just how old are the dogs?
Willard and Tessie are both 9. And the Chihuahuas are all, Vito and Tony are both roughly 5. And, Momo, we don't know, I would say 10. And Bugsy is, I would say 3. But no more after this, because I am not well. So, that's it. Wrapping it up.
Just the ones then, from the statement you made earlier. Would I be wrong in assuming that when it's really cold out, you don't like letting the dogs out? You don't want them to be out in the cold?
If it's 0 or below, no, I'm not freezing their feet off, no. But when it warms up, yeah, they're going out. Would you want to go out barefoot if it's below 0?
Do you have an alternative place for them to go to the bathroom, like
No
a
answer.
puppy pad?
Yes, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Did you see any puppy pads being used?
No, and in
It
fact,
wasn't below
I
zero when she was there.
scratched it.
But to have out, if they're having accidents, I have dogs myself, and when they're having
I
accidents.
do have puppy pads, and she recommended puppy pads, actually. And I said, that's a great idea.
Okay, which is why I
I
asked if
did
you
not
used them.
deny that, that was a good idea. I never denied that. Smirk on her face.
She did not say you did, and please, ma'am, you're not helping yourself any
I know
by
I'm not.
demeaning the officer.
I know
please.
I'm not, I'm sorry. But it's like she's,
No,
She
just
said-
just stop it, please. Don't even, just focus on your case.
I will.
I think,
But you know, to say I work with people, I wanna help people,
Let's
that's
get
not
more
true.
discussion once we make a motion, right?
you wanna go into closed session?
Needed? Still have to.
Well, we should discuss it on another.
Yeah, we need to discuss, so if we're done with questions, that's the next step. Right?
Mhm.
I'm good.
All
with
I wanna
questions.
do is help my animals and live in peace, that's it. I'm done.
Close it. Motion to go into closed session.
Have a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Want to read the language?
Sure. I got here too. The committee may convene in closed session pursuant to section 19.85 subsection I subsection A. Or is that- that's a one. Wisconsin statutes for purposes of deliberating concerning the case which was the subject of any judicial or quasi judicial trial or hearing before that government body. The committee will thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.85 subsection 2, Wisconsin statutes to take action on items discussed in closed session if appropriate and to consider the remainder of the agenda.
All
I don't know what you just
Aye.
said, sir, I'm sorry.
Aye.
I just read the official language that allows us to go into closed session. So
That we can just-
we'll discuss this amongst ourselves,
I see.
then we'll come back and we'll let you know what we decided.
Okay, so do we go home?
Well, no, we won't be that long.
Oh,
So during closed session, people who cannot stay can go out in the hallway. There's other conference rooms. There's benches out there wherever you'd like to sit is fine, and we'll open the door as soon as open session resumes.
okay, so we have a few moments then?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Nope, let's go back. We just make the motion. Back.
Take a moment to go back into the open session.
We'll wait for.
One more.
But it's probably, I don't think so. Pretty much.
All right, I'll take a moment to go into open session. please.
Make a motion to go into open session.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, ayes have it. All right, little housekeeping, I didn't do it at the beginning. Everything that we discussed tonight is a recommendation to common council, which will be on the 18th of April.
So I make a motion to deny.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it.
Yep, so this will go forward with the council and then also your municipal court. So this isn't a final decision. There's still other decisions to be made.
Okay, so when's my next date?
The 18th is when we have council of April and the municipal. Anyone know when the municipal?
It's on the municipal court.
Six.
The sixth.
She's wherever. Oh, for the citations?
Yeah, so you have to go to
Different process.
separate.
Okay.
So that's on the sixth,
Okay,
and then our decision, or not our, decision, our recommendation, the common council will be heard on the 18th of April.
who is common council?
That's what all the
All the
alders get
alders
together.
One room.
There are 12 total,
Okay.
there are 12 total, that we are 4 of the 12.
Also,
Actually, five.
all right,
That meeting starts at 6
Six.
P.M.
All right, cool.
Former alders, and I can explain everything to you.
Oh, you may have changed a few rules.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
that sounds great. All right, thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too.
So, okay, number two, we're going to consideration of possible action on a communication by Alder Camel, District 6. To request that we add all committee meetings and any gatherings of city council duties by inserting the pledge of allegiance right after roll call as a permanent part of all committee agendas, just as we do in our common council agendas to restore and remind us of the oath that we took as public servants. Alder Camel.
Pretty much says it all. I just thought, last Parks Committee that we had here, I was chairing it. It was refreshing, you know, with everything that's going on. I mean, I just want to be clear, this isn't really political. This is addressing a fellow veteran that came to, I don't remember what meeting it was when we had it in there. I think it was 7. Talking about security. And he couldn't believe that we didn't start it that way. I think we don't think it's that much of a bother. There's a flag in this room. I don't know why we don't do it or why it never has been done. I just want to say, you know, it only takes how long to say it. I actually kind of started thinking about it. I wish we kind of had our own city pledge to our. But I don't want to go too far beyond. It's only the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, it's not our Constitution, although our duties are to our Constitution. But at the same time, it's pretty much to the flag, Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. And if there's any insert in there that would be, you know, which is controversial, it's a nation under God, but no one has a problem with that, so I don't see that being an issue. I just think it's, you know, even people at the debate here, the mayoral debate, you know, there was public concern that something like that wasn't even, you know, started with Pledge of Allegiance, and I think everyone there would have been okay with it. I just don't see it that it really breaks any rules. I think it's just was rather refreshing to do it when we were here, and that's, you know, I don't see it being a problem. I think it takes a couple, not even about a minute, probably. Okay, with delay our things, and it does just remind us of just getting basic things back a little bit, saying this is what I'm here for, you know. So I just like to see that implemented in. I know I think it's just to make everything run smooth. I don't see any controversy in it, so.
Good, thank you.
Any questions?
I have a couple questions.
All right, everybody want. Attorney, have any comments?
I would add a couple of things. I think Alder Campbell's on the right point about the flag, because federal law generally states that if you're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance, it should be to a flag. So just a note about our committees, any rooms, committee rooms, conference rooms where we have these meetings should have that if we do it. And then I would say, in terms of drafting a policy, which would be the appropriate step, if you referred it to staff, we would likely consider whether it should apply universally to all of our boards, commissions, councils, not just committees, because in general, I think it would be for all. You wouldn't just pick a few
That
or
was
just the committees.
Just one
gonna be one of my
clarification.
questions.
Unless you know.
No, that's fine.
So, does the commission actually take an oath though?
I think everybody who's elected and appointed does. And the oath is a little bit different than the Pledge of Allegiance, but I think every,
No, I meant taking the oath is why I'm asking.
I think every elected and appointed official in the city, signs the oath. I think some entities say that out loud, but for the most part, it's done in writing and signed.
Right.
And they're on record in the clerk's office. Which is generally, it states, the city of Green Bay do solemnly swear, I skipped the name part, obviously, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, that I will faithfully perform the duties of said office to the best of my abilities, so help me God. So that's the oath, and they're on file for all elected and appointed officials.
Commissioners?
I believe so. I will double check on that, but I think everybody who's appointed and commissioners are appointed So it's appointed and elected, as far as I'm aware. And if I misspoke on that, I will correct it before council.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't think commissioners took a note, but
Yeah,
maybe it's if it's just something they sign. It could be that, slip through me.
I would only add that I'd like to see it at least get through committee here to let the rest of the majority of the council be able to have a say in it.
Could it be
I
reported
think
out?
that's fair.
Everything we do here gets reported out, so this is going to council no matter what.
Yeah, but it could be turned down here, right?
No,
Oh.
even if we vote no, it still goes to council.
Okay. I'll make sure.
Yeah, everything we do at committee,
Thank you
your
for
committee too,
clarification.
everything we do at committee is just a recommendation to council.
Appropriate motion that would be to refer to staff.
If you want something drafted.
A policy.
Staff, legal staff. Or
Yeah.
Any other
It goes
questions?
in the-
No, if that's the motion, I'll
Okay,
support
you
that.
Usually get it.
Motion to refer to staff.
Do I have a second?
Thank you.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Dave? Ayes have it.
yeah, if you could. And then we
Staff
make the
overworked
policy, if
already?
you could,
Is staff overworked already?
well,
I could do this one.
Yeah.
Easier to run it to the council and then vote it.
All right, number 3, consideration of possible action request by Alder Scannell
I think
for
that's
staff
the
to
one.
make and report a safety threat assessment to protection policy committee. Alder,
okay, again, I would just like to refer this to staff. So that they could make that assessment to us. I already talked to some in legal, Joanne, and they can put that together and report that back to us. So everyone is aware. I mean, we now are responsible for security of the building. I think we should be aware of all have an assessment of the safety threats that have been going on and what we need to be looking at, and preparing for making our security decisions for the building.
So what will this mean? We'll get an email that'll say there's been a report, a bomb is.
But right now, all we're gonna do is refer this to staff. They will put together a report of what's the security issues, and concerns are for the building and report that to us. That's all that's happening right now.
Are we hearing of a lot of, have you heard of a lot of threats? I mean, I'm not gonna vote against it, no, I just.
Yeah, so I think, there was some incidents last week that, I think the police were involved in. Not sure if they actually happened here were related to individuals that work here. I can get that information before council. In a recent week or two, there was a call that came into the mayor's office. That one of the staff answered, with the person asking, when the next largest meeting was going to be and where it was gonna be located. So I mean, there are things of that nature that come in, that's just all I can think about in the last week or so. But I don't obviously answer all the phones, but those are things that a staff person who works in my proximity told me about.
So just for the past year or two, or certainly the past year. If we
You
can get a-
envision that PD would assist us with this?
I might want to add something to that. That's someone brought to my attention that. It didn't really seem as much of a concern, but the more I thought about it, the more I think it should be addressed. That was something on my invocation speech. Everyone say it was a threat, but since I'm not quite sure, but someone has told me it is a city employee. That was very outspoken toward my invocation speech, and I think it should be noted that a city employee coming back to an altar.
Well, you could report that to HR.
We're kind of talking about threats here, so I'm just kind of
Did they,
bringing it
what,
forward.
what you made it sound like, you said it wasn't a threat. That they spoke out
It
about
doesn't
it.
quite say a threat, just
If we should, yeah, we should
verbal,
follow up on that as a
yes.
separate
I
item,
just
probably.
wanna- Yes,
Mhm.
as long as we're on it, maybe this is a process, but I understand I'm not.
Okay.
So that's my motion to
You
refer to
guys got
staff
another one today?
to come back with a report.
do I have a second?
Yes, sorry, I guess just a question with that. I mean, can there be policy or something that when there is a threat, we are made aware? I mean, when someone is asking when the next largest attended meeting is, that involves us.
Mhm.
so that's a little shocking to hear, I guess, and not being notified, especially since next week is such a meeting. So I don't know if there's a policy or what that has to entail, but I think a lot of things we've complained about is communication.
Yeah.
So if we,
so- I think absolutely. I think part of doing the assessment is, as I'm hearing it, is maybe contemplating a system that would include notifications and information sharing, which we don't have.
Right.
If that's the case, what you're thinking about,
Right.
in terms of what that assessment would be,
one step.
and a process in place. So I think after that, or in coinciding with that, if there's a policy about communicating those items, because obviously there's different levels of threat, whether something is actually, and maybe the police department can speak to this too. If there was something that was reported, follow up, some things are just safety procedures, which a lot of that happens outside of people seeing it, like safety procedures that we have before meetings and before events like elections that take place. Not everybody sees those, but those can certainly be reported to all others.
Okay, so Randy, you might be an exception to this. We're doing this for 5 years. What about emergency plan for us?
We've talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had any training. Safety plan? Yeah, safety plan.
Mhm.
Duck and cover.
You know, I've been doing this for
I think-
5 years.
I think training could be part of that as well. When we talk about a plan, communication plan, if you wanted training or if that is part of the assessment and if that's recommended. And there's lots of things.
Because when the city officials are all in that room there, all those doors are locked. And there's no safety plans for us
The
to,
doors aren't locked.
no, the
Oh, I see, what you mean, yeah. Escapes.
escape room.
Yeah, yeah,
A room
Duck
for
and
us to
cover.
go to.
Yeah, yeah, see, that's part of
I'm
the
just saying
security.
that because, you know,
You know,
the
it-
threat about the big gathering of people. so.
What I'm hoping to do is we'd have all this information, and from that
Yeah.
information, we can make policy. What I'm kind of thinking is that maybe every committee could get reported to, like if there's anything with parks, they could make that part of their informational report. For anything with the building, could either come here, maybe finance, because Diane is actually oversees the clerk's office, so, but either way, you know, something. But
Yeah.
that could all be worked out policy wise, discussions once we get, and what information we can make public, what needs to be done. And I don't know how we do this privately. If there's information that's sensitive, we shouldn't be talking about publicly, like. You know, how do we handle that? How do we come up with policies for that? How do we even discuss it? Because we can't really go into closed session, as I understand it, for stuff like that, maybe. So,
I mean, does there have to be a policy about like a action plan, I guess? I mean,
I think that.
That's just a lot, training,
Yeah,
Maybe.
to your point, it would be probably, if we've been calling it, referring to as a policy, but whether it's a procedure or something like that, I mean, it's not an ordinance, is the point.
Right.
Get
Right, I guess
that
my
clear,
question is
so-
if it's not a policy, how
Your
public does it
procedure.
need to be? Is it more just, hey, once a year, we should go through this training?
So just, so the way agendas are written up. Also, the process. Step by step. So is the pledge of allegiance. Part of the policy of the agenda, yes.
Right, so for the Pledge of Allegiance point that we were just talking about, it would be that would be a policy that council passes, and then it would be added to all of the agendas if it was adopted.
Well, I know it wasn't quite printed the way I exactly would it.
Okay.
I want to look at it. At it because I did get it sent back to me exactly how I printed it, but it wasn't put in this agenda. Right.
Oh, okay, and we can follow up when we're drafting to
Yeah.
make sure it.
All right, so we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Okay, I have it. Information liquor violation report, please.
Okay. We have a couple here for you. There are two different cases. One was from Dousman Express, on Dousman Street. And there were two people cited. One was for bartending without an operator's license. The other one was no licensed operator on the premises. They thought, they had told police when they were there, they thought because they lived in the same home, that there was an exception to that. Nowhere in paperwork did it say that. They were just educated about the laws and their responsibilities. And it sounds like ATF, was also involved and they were cited, same people were cited, for tobacco to a minor in 2022. And then I think that's basically it. So we're just gonna continue to work with them and explain, try to mitigate the confusion there. So that's where we're at with that. The secondary one was occurring at Dino Shell on Ashland. And one individual was cited for operating without a bartending without an operating license. And then sale of alcohol to underage person. We were called there because there was a theft complaint. And this person was going to be terminated from their employment, so that is cleared up and done because the person no longer works for that establishment anymore. The owner was very helpful and we spoke with him as well about having somebody there that has a license to somebody else.
Right, thank you.
Motion received and placed on file.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Eight, ayes have it. Clerk's office licensing report.
Thank you. There are no changes from last time, and at this time, the city of Green Bay has no available liquor licenses.
Right, thank you.
Motion to adjourn it.
Receive place on file.
Oh, yeah, motion received and placed on file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Eight, ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn it.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Ayes have it. Nay. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Alderman.